So only a few years back, I wasn't practicing Islam.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what it is. Smart girl, smart gets on your brain, mom.
I didn't know Arabic.
هذا ممكن هنا ليس مشكلة.
And the reason why I wanted to learn Arabic is to actually increase and better my practice of Islam.
الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الذين قد أكد الله عز وجل بأنه رضي بما فعلوا كانوا من الذين سببوا أن نكون في عصرنا هذا نستطيع أن نفهم وأن نقرأ القرآن وأن نتخذه شفاء وهدى لحياتنا ويفيدنا في معاشنا وفي معادنا. فإذا الإنسان العاقل المسلم المؤمن لا يعقد نفسه وإنما يتمسك بالقرآن والسنة ويفهمهما كما فهموه الصحابة رضوان الله عليهم.
Now, obviously, like any other thing, if you go through the process once, if you look back, there are a few things that you would do differently. So in this video, I will tell you 5 things that if I had to learn Arabic from scratch again, these are exactly the ones that I would do. Now, first of all, I would commit to it 100%. Both fit in, or as we say in the Arabic language, على قدم وساق, with my foot and my tibia. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he says in a hadith, إن الله يحب عبدا إذا عمل عملا أن يتقنه, that Allah Azza wa Jal loves a servant, or loves the servant that when he does something, he does it at its best. And obviously the Arabic language being the liturgical language of Islam, the language of the Qur'an, the language of the Sunnah. What else, if we don't do these at its best, what else are we going to do at its best? So I would definitely go full time, even though I had came to realize that I would have to do this on a full time, but it took me quite a long few months, and I would say in between 6 to 9 months to actually realize like I actually have to sit down and just focus on Arabic until I'm finished, because if I memorize Qur'an and I do this and I do that, it's going to distract me so much. And later on, actually, I will share some of the sayings of the Salaf or the scholars and what they say about studying too many things at the same time. There is likewise a poetry in Mauritania that is widespread that goes with this fundamental of focusing on one thing and not doing anything else until you finish that thing, that says وإن تريد تحصيل علم تمما وعن سواه قبل الانتهاء ما وفي ترادف العلوم المنع جاء إن توأمان استبقا لن يخرجا. But basically, that if you want to complete something, then don't do anything else until you complete that thing, that particular art, that particular subject, in this case being the Arabic language. So first of all, what I would do is focus so much on the Arabic language to a point where if I don't see somebody for a long time, and we meet each other, hey, how you doing? It's been a long time. What you up to? The first thing that will come to my mind is I'm learning the Arabic language. Of course, I have other responsibilities and things that I'm doing. As soon as I am free, that's the first thing that I think of, and that's the first thing that I put my mind and my energy to. Now, the second thing is creating an environment of Arabic. Now, it's important to say that, if you were learning a dialect, an Arabic dialect, like Saudi dialect, Egyptian dialect, whatever it might be, you can just go to the country, find some friends, and in a few months, you're going to learn. But with the Arabic Fusḥa, there is no country that people just walk around in the street speaking Fusḥa. There are some countries that it won't be too strange if you speak to people in Fusḥa, and most of them are going to be able to speak it, whether it's, the closer you get from Saudi Arabia in the Arabic Peninsula, that would be the case. But some other places, they actually would laugh at you without pointing at anyone. If you have experienced that, please let us know in the comments. I don't want to be the one that's saying it, because then they say have trauma of that country. But basically the mentality here and the mindset would be that as soon as you say I'm going to learn Arabic, if you only speak in Arabic, you only speak in your mother tongue or in your tongue that you speak on a day-to-day basis, only if you need it. Even that, you should be constantly trying to say it in that language. So try to think in Arabic, like actually force yourself. Every time you say something on a day-to-day basis, every time you talk to someone, your significant other, your children, whatever it might be, think, how would I say that in Arabic? And if you don't know, write it down in your notes. And when you meet with your teacher, go ahead and write down your list of things that you want to know how to say, and then ask your teacher, how would I say this? How would I say that? How would I say this? How would I say that? And this is exactly what I personally advise the students at Andalus Institute. Now, as of now, in Andalus Institute, we have speaking sessions that the students can go and practice speaking the Arabic language, because of the fact that, as we said, there's nobody out there who really speaks Arabic Fusḥa. So if you find a group of people who speaks Fusḥa, that is a jackpot, and that is, Allah has given you luck in this dunya. So my advice to these students is go and just speak, just talk. The point of speaking a language is trying to bring a point across. It's not being completely, grammar correct and being completely morphology correct in the beginning, but rather bringing your point across and making the other person understand what you're trying to say. That's the point of language. And the point of this is to put yourself in an environment where you are constantly trying to speak. And when you don't know what to say, how to say something, you go ahead and write it in your notes. And then students at Andalus Institute, after completing each lesson, they have a call with their teacher that they have assigned. So they can go ahead with their teacher and practice not only the things which is the purpose of the call, is to practice the things of the lesson they just went over, but on top of that, they can have time and ask the teacher, apart from practicing with somebody who can correct you now, and because other students might not be able to do so unless they are in a more advanced level, but now you can discuss those things that you don't know how to say with your teacher, so you can correct them, and then you go back to the battlefield with the students and you put it into practice, and you continue to build yourself like this. And it's a feedback cycle that the more you do this, the more you get to a point where there's barely any things that you don't know how to say. So creating your immersion environment in order for you to practice the language as much as possible until it becomes part of your long-term memory, and you do it on a automatic manner. If you want to know a little bit more in depth how students learn at Andalus Institute, I will put a video in the first link in the description. You can go and watch it. I go more in depth in there. It's a 1-hour video. I show inside how the program works, etc., etc. You can go and check that out. In there as well, I show students and where they were at before and after, and how by using this feedback cycle they were able to continue to build their language until they were able to speak. Now, number 4 is study a core book. Focus on one book and finish it. And don't distract yourself from going to one book to another, then not finish that book, then go to the other book, then not finish that book, then go into another book, because every time you hear there's a better way. And understand that the grass is not greener on the other side, but it's greener where you water it. If you water the grass on your side and you complete that book, that's where you are going to extract the most benefit from. And as well, know the fundamental that it's not the book that is beneficial. Most of the times, most books will pretty much give you more or less the same amount of knowledge, but rather is the way how the teacher that's teaching you that book is teaching it to you. So trust a teacher, stick with him, and complete the whole book with him until you get to the end. It was reported by al-Muzanī that he says that he read al-Risala by al-Imām al-Shāfiʿī. He said, قرأت كتاب الرسالة للشافعي عليه 80 مرة نجد في كل مرة ما لا نجده من قبل يعني بذلك مما يستوجب إعادة النظر. So every time he read it 80 times on al-Imām al-Shāfiʿī, and still every time he read the book on him, he would find new things. And this brings me to the next number, the point number 4, which is learn through teaching. Once you get to a level that you have people behind you, i.e. you're not at level 0, because if you are at level 1, you can help the person that's at level 0. And by you teaching, you benefit yourself. And I discovered this by not even doing it on purpose. It was actually the fact that I then started teaching online in 2016. And I had to go over the same book that I did study twice actually, on a third time. And I realized that, oh wow, it was actually beneficial, even though I thought that I went over the book twice already. And then I did it, I went over al-Arabiya bin Yadayk a fifth, a sixth time, because of Andalus Institute, and I was teaching it to the students, that every single time I would benefit. And I'm pretty sure right now, if I go over again, I teach it again, I'm going to benefit again. And there's actually a qawl in Jami Bayan al-Ilm wa Fadli that says, اجعل تعليمك دراسة لك. Make your teaching a source of, learning for you. وجعل مناظرة العلم تنبيها بما ليس عندك. And when you argue with someone, put the intention that you are trying to see what you don't have, not to win the debate, but see if there's something that he's bringing that perhaps you didn't understand before. وَأَكْثِرْ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ لِتَعْلَمْ. And increase in knowledge so you know. وَأَقْلِلْ مِنْهُ لِتَحْفَظ. And minimize it if you want to memorize. وَرَوَى عَنْهُ أَنَّهُ قَالَ وَأَقِلُّ مِنَ الْكُتُبِ لِتَعْلَمُوا. And decrease the amount of books you go over, so so you learn. وَأَكْثِرُ مِنْهَا لِتَعْلَمُوا. And increase in the amount of books that you go over for you to know. And here we can see the difference in Arabic. تَعَلَّمَ وَتَعْلَمْ. It's two different things. When you have knowledge, you are able to connect all of those dots with the particular subject that you have in front of you. You know it in depth. You can teach it, you can learn it, you have mastered it. But when you know about things, when you have Maʿrifah, you have ilm about things, it doesn't mean that you have mastered it. But you have gone over, you have read about it, so you are aware of it. And hence why he says, أَقِلُّ مِنَ الْكُتُبِ, decrease the books if you want to learn. وَأَكْثِرُ, and increase in books if you want to have knowledge. Basically the fact is that knowledge is not the same as having information about something. You can have knowledge about something. If you want knowledge about something, then only study a few books. If you want to have information about things and know about them, then read a lot of books. And the last one is al-Musāḥaba, and having companionship. Doing this with people who are 100% on the same path that you are on. Because if you, for example, you want to be a talib and you want to learn the Arabic language, you are ready to, go with this sheikh, sit with him 2 months, but then you have somebody else who is not at that level of wanting it, it's not gonna help as much. So find those people who are as hungry as you and stick with them. And inshallah, bi'idhnillah, you guys will see that you will push each other the days that you don't feel like doing so. And you will get, bi'idhnillah azza wa jal, to the point where you are able to speak the Arabic language as if it was yours. Again, I know this is a little bit of a short video where I cannot go too much in depth, but I have a video that I actually go in depth in 1 hour of a video. You can find it in the first link in the description or in the first comment as well. It's called How to Learn Arabic from Scratch. And in there I show students who have learned how our program works and many more other details that if you are really serious about learning the Arabic language, I'm pretty sure you will benefit. It has so far 130,000 views, so I'm pretty sure that you will like it just as other people did. I will see you there. Assalamu alaikum.